This is exactly how my client lost 60 pounds and will go on to lose another 40 with simple, easy methods. Meet Reuben. He'll be on the screen. Reuben was like most guys when he started with me. He was training 6 to 7 times a week, lifting incredibly heavy weights, also doing CrossFit, sweating his face off in these sessions, high intensity obviously, but he was still frustrated by the fact he wasn't seeing the change in his body that he wanted to see. He loved the way he was doing, but he also felt exhausted, he felt hungry, and he felt like his progress was flat. Reuben deadlifts over 240 kilos. He squatted 220. He has shifted a massive amount of weight, but still he was stuck with 100 kilos, 100 pounds of extra body weight. In the last 7 months, he has lost 60 pounds, which is absolutely incredible. And the goal is to lose 100 pounds. So he will be down under 100 kg without having to starve himself, without training 7 times a week, without spending his life in the gym like he was before. And I'm going to walk you through how I have helped him do this, how I will continue to help him, and how I have helped dozens of other men like him do the exact same. Most guys will hear the story I'm telling about Reuben and think, wait, he's lost weight by doing less. Like, that's not possible. How could he be doing less but seeing more results? And the problem is that most guys are addicted to trying to do more, but in reality, you just need to do better. You need to do the right things and do it better. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Reuben has lost the 60 kilos and why it works, and how you can also rinse and repeat this for yourself. If fat loss is your goal and maintaining muscle mass is your goal while doing so, listen to this. Now, fat loss isn't just about hard work. It's actually about creating a system like what we have done for Reuben that is sustainable, that is low fatigue, that is repeatable, because you don't want to be stuck long term pushing as hard as you possibly can for what looks good on paper, or what you can brag about in the gym locker rooms, or you can brag about to your mates about how many times you've done cardio, or how little you're eating, or how many times you've been to the gym. You don't want to be doing what looks good on paper. You want to be doing what actually gets you the right results. And most guys right now will click off because they want to hear something sexy. They want to hear a shortcut. They want to hear a hack. They want to hear a fad diet that is going to get them to where they want to be as fast as possible. However, like Reuben, you need to stay. You need to stay and listen to this, because if you want results and if you want to get into it, I'm going to prove to you that this method works. So let's actually just get into it. So like I said, one of the big issues is ego, is following influencer diets, is following Instagram recipes, or is trying to go to the gym maximum amount of times per week. But realistically, you do not need to do that. You do not need to starve yourself. You do not need to cut out random food groups. All of that just kills results. And it's what stopped Reuben initially. He was trying to do too much. He was cutting out random stuff and pushing his diet to an extreme, which then meant his consistency was constantly up and down, and he was never seeing the results that he wanted to see. So first off, when it came to Reuben, we didn't change his physique initially, we changed his identity. I tried to get him to stop seeing himself as a powerlifter or as a crossfitter that just always had to lift more weight or eat more calories, eat big to get big, because he was burning all these calories during his workouts. I reframed his identity in his head to become an athlete whose primary goal is to get leaner, stronger, and live longer. We changed who he saw himself in his head. We planted the seed, the goal, and then it was just a case of aligning everything with that goal, which is actually not too tough. So the steps that we have used for Reuben's results is, first off, we cut out the 6 or 7 days training, and sometimes he was even training twice a day, and we reduced it to 4. 2 weightlifting sessions, 2 CrossFit sessions. Done. With focus, intentionality, and intensity in each of those sessions. Because 4 well done sessions for the right reasons is far better than pushing for the maximum amount where you may be half-arsed because you're tired, or where you don't know what you're actually going to do, or where you are just going to tick a box instead of getting it done for a reason. The next thing we did, although Reuben was working out a crap ton, he was barely getting any steps in. So he went from 2,000 steps before he was working with me to 10,000 steps plus. We also made sure that his movement increased by gentle spin bike while he sat down and watched TV or watched a movie or played video games, which is low fatigue, low stress, easy to do. So we replaced that high intensity CrossFit with low intensity sustainability done for a reason. The next thing that we did with Reuben was we didn't starve him. No. Reuben was a big guy. He needed a big amount of calories. His maintenance calories were already quite high, up at 4,000 calories, which is more than most people eat. Now, we set his calories at baseline, which was maintenance, at around 4,000 calories, and kept the protein nice and high, focused on the good fat and carb ratio. And then what we did, the secret sauce, is you don't starve yourself. You gradually decrease the calories by keeping the protein the same, but adjusting the fats and the carbs. Slow decreases. Now, actually, at the start, he struggled to hit that amount of calories. Now, clearly, before, to put on the weight he did, he was eating a large amount of food. He was takeaways, snacking, whatever. But when you replace that with good, clean food, he was struggling to actually eat 4,000 calories, what his body actually wanted. So, he wasn't starving. He was full. He was actually losing weight and struggling to eat the amount that I was prescribing for him. That is how you do a calorie deficit right. You do a calorie deficit right by not starving yourself, but fueling yourself correctly while maintaining your macros and your calorie balance, staying in those targets. And the last thing I touched on there was we removed all junk food and replaced it with good, clean food so that he felt better, he had more energy, he can work out harder. Simple. We just removed the junk food and focused on whole, good, quality food. So 4 things: training, movement, nutrition, and then removing the junk food. I guess that kind of falls into nutrition, doesn't it? But from what he has done, an immediate action that you can do is, if you look at his average step count with being incredibly low, just track your steps first. Like, see, like generally, like most people wear an Apple Watch. See where you're at. Don't change a thing. But next week, I'd like you to add 2,000 steps to your daily target, to your daily steps, right? So say this week you're averaging 4,000. Next week, get 6,000. Because really, there is only two ways that you lose body fat. You either lose body fat from creating a nutritional calorie deficit, where you eat less food and hit the right macros, or you burn more calories and create a deficit that way. If you do the both at the same time, you get fast results and you don't have to push one of them as hard. If we didn't control his calorie burn and only looked at his nutrition, we would have to have dropped his calories much lower, much faster. But when you decrease the intake and increase the output, you get a nice synergy and you lose weight easily. So try that. This is exactly what I do with my clients. Like, Reuben is the perfect example. We strip away all the noise, we strip away the distractions, focus on the fundamentals, the basics, and we build a blueprint around the basics. We build a blueprint that Reuben didn't have to guess. He knew exactly what he had to do, and he could follow this plan easily. It really wasn't that tough. It wasn't any extremes. It is simply just making adjustments, making basic adjustments that he can run with. Reuben hasn't just only lost 60 pounds, he has built a better man. He's in control, he'll continue to lose weight, and he's completely shifted his identity. He's more confident, he's wearing different clothes, he's wearing, the first time last week, he wore a tank top, bought it, wore it to the gym, and he felt sick. Like, he has completely shifted who he was, because he now knows that he is capable of doing it. He's no longer in self-doubt, he's no longer guessing, he's no longer harsh and negative in himself. He knows he's still on the journey, but he knows he'll also get there. He knows with the right plan, he will get there. So, if you're watching this right now, and Reuben's story kind of resonates a wee bit with you, you have two roadmaps. You have Reuben before, hopefully I throw up an image of Reuben before, where he was overdoing it, pushing extremes, overtraining, following crazy diets, stuck and frustrated. Or you have Reuben now, who is following the blueprint, who is seeing results, who is confident, who is in complete control. You have a choice. You either stay like Reuben's past, or you move forward with Reuben. And it is your choice. You do that. If you want the blueprint, I can send it out to you. I can get you on board. Just message me, CS4, on Instagram or on WhatsApp, and I'll send you over the exact blueprint. Both of them are down below in the caption. But really, guys, you do not need to overcomplicate it. Have a goal, align with the goal, keep things simple. That is exactly what I do with all of my clients, with all of them in the past, and that is why they are getting such great results. Because there is no extremes needed, there is no fads needed, it is just simple execution for sustainable results over the long term. So thank you for watching, I hope this helps. Peace out. Have a phenomenal day.